I sense that you're leading to a proposal.
A proposal is what I'm proposing. On the off chance that we survive the Night King, what if the Seven Kingdoms were ruled by a just woman and an honorable man?
Your sister doesn't like me.
She doesn't know you. If it makes you feel any better, she didn't like me either when we were growing up.
She doesn't need to be my friend, but I am her queen.
That's right.
What's wrong with them?
They don't like the North.
I don't know how to ride a dragon.
Nobody does, until they ride a dragon.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Whatever you can.
How does it feel? You're a Targaryen, yo. How do you feel? Yo. Y'all better watch out before you run into the Night's King.
You've completely ruined horses for me.
We could stay 1,000 years. No one would find us.
And then you think of him and Egret in the cave.
It's cold up here for a southern girl.
So keep your queen warm. Don't be afraid.
Crown for king.
Yo. There was something to that look, that's for sure.
Isn't easy making a blade that big with dragon glass.
It's who makes weapons for the wildlings.
Cripples and cocksuckers. Which one are you?
Leave him be.
You left me to die.
First I robbed you.
You're a cold little bitch, aren't you? Guess that's why you're still alive.
That was a nice axe you made for him. You've gotten better.
Yeah, thanks. So have you. I mean, you look good.
Thanks. So do you.
Oh, is that a command, Lady Stark?
Don't call me that.
As you wish, milady.
They're revisiting everything.
Can you make it?
I always knew you were just another rich girl.
You don't know any other rich girls.
All I wanted was to protect the North. I brought 2 armies home with me, 2 dragons.
And a Targaryen queen.
Do you think we can beat the army of the dead without her? Without her, we don't stand a chance.
Well, there must be something I could give you.
If it's not too much trouble, I could use a pardon. I borrowed a few books from the Citadel. Also a sword.
From the Citadel?
From my family. It's been in House Tarly for generations, but my father had...
I killed your
other
father.
ideas.
Not Randall Tarly.
You know him?
I offered to let him retain his lands and titles if he bent the knee. He refused.
And I killed him. And your brother. Sam.
At least I'll be allowed home again, now that my brother's the Lord.
Your brother stood with your father.
What are you doing out here?
Waiting for an old friend. It's time to tell John the truth.
So it looks like they are going to be told separately.
Son,
know I'm not supposed to be down here.
Were you hiding from me?
Of course not.
What's wrong?
Don't you know?
Know what?
Daenerys. She executed my father and brother. She didn't tell you. Would you have done it?
I've executed men who disobeyed me.
You've also spared men. Thousands of wildlings when they refused to kneel.
I wasn't a king.
But you were. You've always been.
I gave up my crown, Sam. I bent the knee. I'm not king in the north anymore.
I'm not talking about the king in the north. I'm talking about the king of the bloody Seven Kingdoms. Bran and I worked it out. I had a High Septon's diary. Bran had whatever Bran has.
What are you talking about?
Your mother was Lyanna Stark. And your father, your real father, was Rhaegar Targaryen. You've never been a bastard. You are Aegon Targaryen, true heir to the Iron Throne.
So I had sex with my aunt?
My father was the most honorable man I ever met. You said he lied to me all my life.
Your father, Ned Stark, he promised your mother he'd always protect you. And he did. Robert would have murdered you if he knew. You're the true king. Aegon Targaryen, sixth of his name, protector of the realm, all of it.
Daenerys is our queen.
She shouldn't be.
That's treason.
It's the truth.
It's the truth, baby.
You gave up your crown to save your people. Would she do the same?
Does this mean the White Walkers have came through or what? I don't see any bodies. They all got up, yo.
Stay back, he's got blue eyes!
I've always had blue eyes!
Did you find anyone?
They did something with the bodies, like they always do.
The Umber boy.
It's a message from the Night King.
We'll get there before the den. We just have to hope the Night King doesn't come first.
So that means from here on out, everybody that dies is gonna come back because the wall is down now. That's kind of creepy, and it kind of reminds me of the Targaryen. It's Jamie. Jamie. That's Jamie.
What are you doing out here?
Waiting for an old friend.
Finally, I can breathe. I'm so happy. All right, y'all, so that was Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 1, entitled Winterfell. So, a big thing that happened was we know that the North is stubborn. We know that they're highly emotional, and we saw them very disapprovingly see the Dragon Queen and her army roll up. The North is not fond of outsiders, so nothing that happened was really surprising, but a lot of things have been reminding me of other things. You know, the moment where Khaleesi, she was on the horse and she was riding through, and all the Northerners were looking at her. It made me think of when Jon was walking through the wildling camp and they were yelling crow and throwing rocks at him and stuff. When people are in a very, very tight community and outsiders come in, it's a problem, you know, and I understand that. You like to be around what you know is safe, who you know, what you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Khaleesi ended up telling Sam about the execution of Randall Tarly and Dickon Tarly, that was hard for him. And what's messed up is we even saw his genuine pain because of losing his father. But then he was like, yo, but my brother Dickon is cool. And Khaleesi was like, he stood by your dad and he's gone too. That was hard for him. And he knows the importance. He knows what her being a Targaryen means. Jon being a Targaryen, what that means. And it did not go over well, you know? And it really, really... Sam has been such a pivotal character. He's been such an important person throughout this whole entire series. It was hard to see him get told that his father and his brother were dead, you know? This show is incredible, but it's also a snippet of a story, you know? So in my mind, I like to think that if they do survive winter, depending on who does survive winter, that Sam would for sure go home and be the Lord of House Tarly, you know? There is no Night's Watch anymore. Everybody's a Night's Watch now. And we also saw little Umber, I don't know what the new kid's name is, that took over for House Umber, and it looks like the Night King came through there and tore House Umber up. And I bet they had themselves a good, decent-sized army, too. Oh, man, that sucks. And they also, again, when we saw... Was it last season? No, it was season 6 when Bran was learning everything, you know? And the Children of the Forest explained how they made the White Walkers. We saw some of their places of worship there around the Godswood trees. There were like stones. And then even in season 1, episode 1, when those rangers are out beyond the wall, that one dude peeks over that little hill and he sees something very similar to that. That is what the Whites and the White Walkers sometimes piece together as a form of worship. I know that they definitely could send messages anyway. I feel that them showing up and all of the bodies were gone, that was enough of a message in itself. But they had to do that creepy stuff with the arms and the body parts. That was wild. Absolutely wild. So they decided of all, there's so many reunions to be had. And I absolutely love Arya and his reunion. I love him seeing Bran. I love all that, but the introduction of Sam and Khaleesi, it was a really, really good episode. I was expecting it to be a lot more action-packed. There was also a really weird random moment where Bronn was, I cannot believe that Bronn did not go with Jaime to Winterfell. That's wild. That surprises me so much that he legit made the ride on his own from King's Landing to Winterfell. He is a sellsword. I hope that he truly realizes the threat of winter, because if he's really about to make that trip just to get paid and kill his 2 boys, he is not who I thought he was. I would be really, really disappointed with that outcome. What else? The Greyjoys. So, at the end of last season, they showed Theon leaving with the last bit of Greyjoy soldiers to go find Yara, and with all that said, also find Euron's fleet. We knew that they had the little summit in King's Landing, and then Euron was like, I'm out of here, but he was going to get the Golden Company. I was thinking there was going to be like a dope like high sea battle. With the lack of communication in the world of Game of Thrones, how on earth did Theon know to show up at King's Landing after this dude had already went to Essos, got a huge 20,000 person army, and then came back and they coincidentally, I'm hypercritical, I'm sorry, but I was just thinking that Theon wouldn't know where to look for Euron. So there was going to be a battle like out on the seas that I thought was going to be really good, but it didn't work out that way. I know that Theon is not going to get far with Yara, and I know that there's going to be a battle for sure. I don't know how they're going to win it, but I really, really want Euron out of the way. I have a really bad, I had a very, very uncomfortable feeling all day because we have such a limited amount of episodes. I was thinking that somebody important was going to die tonight. It was a really, really good episode. I really enjoyed it. And if there's anything that I overlooked, that I didn't see, please mention it in the comments down below. I am so glad Game of Thrones is back, and I'll see y'all next week.
But perhaps I can give you justice.